Today we're going to be talking about some statistics. There are some terminology you need to be aware of. First off is population. Population is the entire group being studied. Maybe you are studying all of the students at a particular high school. Sample is a smaller selection from that population. So maybe you're only going to take 20 freshmen, 20 sophomores, 20 juniors, 20 seniors at that high school. Random sample, that word random is really important because when you choose a sample, you want every member of the population to have an equal chance of being chosen. So you wouldn't want to just choose 20 students from Mrs. Smith's class. You would want to have some kind of random way to pick them. Random generators, you might have heard of those before, things of that nature. Assigning a number to all the students and randomly picking 20 students from each grade that have the particular number you've picked. So being able to recognize whether something is random or not is very helpful. So here, if we are looking at people who own dogs that are being surveyed about their dog's health, to gather the data, the researcher asks 100 customers from a large pet store chain. Is that random? Well, not necessarily. People that are going to a particular large pet store chain might all be coming from one particular neighborhood. So maybe that wouldn't be random. But maybe if there were, 5 different stores and you could choose, every 10th customer from each of the stores, you're going to make it a little more random. If a nurse is researching, has a random sample of 100 subjects, half will get the experimental medication and half will get a placebo. The nurse puts all the subjects' names into a hat and randomly draws 50 to get the medication. That word random right here really kind of gives it away. If you put all the names in the hat, shake it all up, pull them all out, they're on the same size paper, color paper, there's no way for you to know who you're going to be grabbing out of there. Then it would be random. Let's talk about frequency diagrams and tables. If you want to organize data, so here we have the number of hours of sleep per night for a group of 30 nurses. If you want to do that, so you'll notice that our lowest value of the amount of sleep is 4, and our highest amount of sleep is 10. Now, when I'm making this frequency table, frequency just is telling you how many times does that thing occur, okay? So I will just kind of make a tally mark. So let's make some tallies on the side, and then we can maybe erase them when we're all done, okay? So I see 8, 2 7s, a 6, another 8, a 9, 10, a 6, a 5, a 4, and so on. So let me just kind of go down my list and tally these out. So tally marks just make it a little easier to organize your data as you go. So let me do this for you. 2 8s there. Let's do that. That one almost didn't mark itself there. Okay, and then we can write down the actual number now that we've tallied everything. And I'm going to show you one other trick to kind of check your work. Okay, so there's 4, 5, 4, 6, 6, 4, and 1. If you add 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 1, you should get 30. Did I do that right? Let's do it again. 4 plus 5 is 9, 13, 19, 25, 29, 30. Yeah, okay. So it said we have 30 sets of data, 30 pieces of data. So, this total here should be 30. Now, we don't really need the tally marks, so you could erase the tally marks as well if you would like. Let's take a look at this one. Now, grouped data is a little different. See how the category has a band of values. So between 1 and 4, 5 and 8. This is the number of years that a group of 30 nurses had worked. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what I did before. I'm going to make a tally, but so 1 through 4 would be anyone that has worked 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, in that category. Okay. So let me do the same thing again. So we've got 8, 7, 27, and so on. So let me just kind of organize myself here, just making a little tally for everyone. And once I have my values organized, then you can put the actual number. So we got 3, 13, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2. So let me add that together. We should have a total of 30 again, unless I missed one along the way. There we go. We got 30. That would total 30. So, just again, a really quick way to check your work. And obviously, if I were doing it like to submit an answer, I would erase those and just have those values marked. Now, a histogram is similar to what you think of when you think of a bar graph. It's just a way to have a picture of what your group data looks like. So if you look here, we have grouped data. And we have the ages of 370 nursing students that are graduates shown in the table, and they're looking at their grade at graduation. So here, if we're assuming they're counting by 20s, so this would be about the 90 mark, right in the middle there. If we kind of look at, we know there's 370. What I have found that's sometimes useful is kind of put what we think. So this looks like it might be about 93, 100. This one's just under 80, maybe as close as like 78. So this one again might be 58. This one looks almost smack dab in the middle of 0 and 20, so 10. This one might be like, let's go, I'd say maybe 15. This looks like 10 again, and this looks like it might be a little under 10, so maybe 8. Now, again, because we haven't broken it down and you'd have to really measure, you can add up these and see, are my estimates close? You should be, really close to that 370 mark, just to get a sense of where you're at. And, some of my numbers might be a little low, but, that would be close to what your data would be. If you notice that 93 out of 370 were in the age bracket, that age range, that grouped data of 17 to 20, they would tell you, see, let me zoom in a little bit. So this includes 17 to 20. This does not include anybody that's 20. So it's anyone that's over 20 and has just hit 23. So you have to think, if you're rounding up to the nearest whole number, that you are, without, going over, that would be anyone that's 21, 22, and 23. This one does not count 23. It counts 24, 25, 26. So, you got to remember how that data is organized. That's what this one means. Don't include the 20, but include the 23. Okay. So that's a little bit how you read a histogram. It says, if this is accurate, how many in the group of 100 students, or in a group of 100 students, would be from the 27 to 29 year old. Now, 27 to 29 year old, I said was roughly 58. That's this one right here. So let me put that information. That looks like it's about 58. Okay, so if we know that 58 out of the 370 were the category, the bracket that we're looking for, then how many would there be out of 100 is the proportion you're going to set up. So it's a pretty straightforward process. To solve a proportion, what I love about them is we just cross multiply. If you get a number attached to your x, in this case the 370 is attached to our x, that's the number you have to divide by. So we're going to multiply 58 times 100, that's why I got 5,800, and then we have to divide off the 370 to get our answer. You're always dividing off the number that is across from your variable. Let me make that up. Somehow my 0 didn't show up there. Okay, so 5,800 divided by 370. Now, we get an answer of 15.67, okay? Now, it's really important that you read the instructions. If they say round down to the nearest whole number, that would be 15 people we would expect to be in that age bracket. If they say round up to the nearest whole, that would be 16 people. So please read the instructions. I can't tell you what it's going to say. It might be different depending upon the circumstance. But when it comes to a biological creature, any kind of person, a bacteria, things like that you can't have like a half a person. They're not going to categorize a half a person. So, make sure that you round correctly based upon the information given. Okay. Now, here's where graphs can sometimes be distorted. Do you see how here the graph starts at 7? And because of that, this one here, whatever their categorizing about, maybe the number of times that they use their call button, I don't know. But it really looks like patient 2 and patient 3 have a really big difference. But let me kind of show you something. And I don't know if this is going to be, but we'll do our best. Okay, so that would be 6, 5, 4, 3. I'm going to have to go on the other page a little bit. 2, 1, 0. Let's just assume that's 0, just so I can fit it in, okay? if we look and continue the bars of our graph, and if we filled them in appropriately so that they start at 0 instead of at 7. Look how now the differences between the patients do not seem quite as drastic as they were making you be misled. Okay, so you always want to, anytime you're reading a graph, always take a minute to look, well, what is the scale of the graph? Is it trying to mislead me? Do they want you to think that patient 1 has maybe not used their call button at all, but patient 2, or I'm sorry, patient 3 hasn't used their call button at all, but patient 2 has used it so much more? Maybe not. So, you got to look at how the axes are. Sometimes the way that they'll use a different color for the different bars can be a little bit misleading. Our eyes might, if it's a darker bar, it might look heavier and bigger than a lighter bar. So there's ways that maybe they want to mislead you. Okay. So we talked about that. Okay, let's take a look at this. It says common injuries children suffered. The top traumatic orthopedic injuries for which children are hospitalized. So the top orthopedic injuries, see how this one is at the top, which seems a little misleading. 5 times, let's kind of say if that's 5, their scale isn't too far off as far as, if they're counting kind of by 5s there. But it just seems, they put this right at the top. So, they say the word top, they put spinal at the top. So, there's just some things that make this a little bit misleading. Look at this for a minute. There's a disproportion in the people. It makes it seem like people from India, which look to be under 5 foot, are microscopic. Think of someone that is a 5'5" woman and a 5 foot woman, and you stand them next to each other. Is that misleading? A few different things are misleading. First off, here, that's 5 foot. That's 5-inch difference. If we think about 5 foot is 60 inches, 60 inches plus another, 5 inches, 5 is only about 8% of the total height of a person, those inches. So doing this and having this scale be the 5 foot mark, very, very, very misleading. So all I'm saying is when you see data presented to you online, in a book, magazine, in an advertisement, take it with a grain of salt. What are they trying to show you? And does it show them some sort of advantage by making it or spinning it that way? So it's always important to kind of think about that. Okay. So there you go. There's a little bit about some kind of introductory statistics. Next week, I will post a video about your exam 2 information, so that's not too far away. There's some old videos out there already if you want to start studying ahead of time. So there is that. Thank you for watching.